Okay. All right. All right. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we've sat down and chatted. That's entirely too long. And there's so much going on. So much. A ridiculous amount of things going on. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. I've never had so much stuff to talk about. But I'm also going to get to the main topic very soon. I'm not going to make you wait 30 minutes while I go through a list of all different things and ramblings. I'm going to be very focused. We have a lot to talk about. So we're going to get right to it in a few minutes. But first, I need to tell you what you're in for this evening. And what this week's video is. Because you guys are going to flip. You're going to absolutely just be so happy with this week's video on Thursday. I can't believe it's here already. I remember when I made it, I felt like it was just so long to wait. Why don't I start with that? So Thursday's video is, drum roll, anyone? I wish I had sound effects. I probably do, but I don't know how to use them. This week's video is Cool or Not Cool Part 2. I can't believe it. This Thursday, I am so psyched. I've watched it again myself. I think it's amusing. I think you guys will. I think you're really going to be excited for that one. We've waited a long time. It's finally here. Thursday, Cool or Not Cool Part 2. Check it out. If you like the first one, the second one is only better. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Our main topic is the Esterbrook SD Raven, which I've been living with, working with for about a month now. So, oh, Allie J, thank you. Allie J likes my sweater. Do you guys, you know my affinity for Jeeps? This is from Kyle James Patrick, and it's an old Wagoneer. This, if I had a dream car, this would be it. An 80s era Wagoneer. One of my favorite cars of all time. Thank you, Allie J, who I should mention was our winner of the Hobonichi Techno Journal. Good job, Allie J. Very compelling email. Mailed it along to you yesterday. It takes me forever to mail things, but I'm off this week. I am off this week, so I am up to all kinds of shenanigans, which is part of what we'll be speaking about this night. But I do want to mention we're going to have Kurt Geisinger on at the end of the hour. He is the author of Behind the Badge and a member and contributor to this channel. Just an all-around lovely guy. You got to see him a couple weeks ago before I unceremoniously chopped that segment from the live show. Because a whole bunch of him going and me saying, "Can you hear me?" was not compelling viewing. And believe it or not, I do try to make viewing compelling for you all. But we got Kurt back. We have a lot to talk about. That'll be at the end of the hour. And we're also going to talk about a horrific MRI experience I had, because that kind of stuff is always fun. The kind of hijinks I've been up to at home. I don't do well on my own when I'm on vacation. Where I'll be tomorrow, I'll be in an entirely different place. And I may live stream from there at some point, but that remains to be seen. And all the sort of goodies that have come in. And not even all of them, because I have kind of a pile. But we're going to get to a lot of them. I also want to talk about a pretentious book that I'm not happy about. And I'm going to read a little segment from it. I'm going to also mention a book that I started reading that I love, that I want to share with you all. And a new journal that came in from Bottega Obscura. Wow, guys. An artist from Italy. You guys know he's my preferred journal supplier. A dear friend of mine, an artist. Amazing work. Surprised me with another journal. He's just so kind. Just a lovely, lovely guy. So super psyched about that. I'll show you that. I got another notebook that's really cool, that has a theme that's very centered in this channel. So I think you'll like that. I see all the members are here. Lovely to see you all. Great group of characters and people who I love exchanging letters with. We do a letter exchange with Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. If you'd like to join the channel, please do. It would be lovely to see you all. So very good stuff. So let's start with the main topic and get some feedback. I think it's always good. You know, you do a review, especially with that one, because it just came in when I did the review. I'm sure you guys saw it. It was a lot of fun. We incorporated some Edgar Allan Poe and just had a really lovely time with it. And now it's a few weeks later, maybe a month later, and I've been using it. And what are my opinions now? What's it been like to use the Esterbrook Raven? Let's go take a look at it. By the way, you proud of me? Have I ever gone into a topic so quickly? I don't think so. Trying to cover up that ISB in the corner there. Trying to make it pretty. I'm trying to make it aesthetic for you guys. You like this William Morris textile? I would glue this to my wall if I could. I like this one. So this was a sample. We're doing some decorating. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. So here we have it. The Esterbrook SD Raven. Basically a blacked out Raven. It's the tech version. This is the one that you would carry if you're in special ops. And you might want to dull some of the reflective parts because it has a beautiful reflective clip and it has a couple of reflected rings and of course a reflective nib. Very glossy, like ink before it dries. Whereas everything else is matte black, has a bit of texture. SDs are lovely pens, perfect balance, a great feel in the hand. You can post it if you like. All you want or not. I've not been posting lately. Ooh, I see a super chat. I have to always mention super chats because I'm always so appreciative. And this one comes from the mighty Lad Gardner. $25. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Goofy Xmas sweater fun. I don't know. Is this a Christmas sweater? I guess it's kind of Christmassy. But for me, it's a Jeep thing. But I do appreciate it. $25. Lad is always so generous. It certainly helps to keep the lights on in the channel, guys. YouTube does not promote a niche channel like ours, and I rely on you guys to keep me motivated and keep me going because I get heartbroken when people don't watch my more sensitive videos. Laddie often dries my tears in the email by usually telling me to just, buck up and carry on, which is the best advice you could give. So someone asked in the comments, thank you, Laddie. I really appreciate it. I just saw it a minute ago and I lost it. Whether or not this posts, I did just show it posting, but I'll show it again. So yes, it does post. It posts very securely. So no problem with posting if you prefer. I don't these days. I've been not. So this has been a rare pen for me because it's an extra fine. Ooh, it makes a nice noise. I don't think enough is said about the sound that certain nibs make. I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but that's a good noise. I call it a scribing noise because I think scratchy sounds pejorative. But I think scribing, like, Bartleby the Scrivener, is evocative of quills and that sound that a quill would make rubbing up against a piece of vellum. And I love it. I love it. So this is an extra fine, a very rare size for me in my collection. So one of the things I really like about this pen and using it for these past months is that it's perfectly balanced. Ergonomically, it's brilliant. I think the only thing I might improve, even though it would sort of spoil the line, it has a bit of a bump at the end. I like more of a taper up at the end, but that's just being, very picayune. I think it's fine. And as long as there's something at the end to arrest your fingers from sliding onto your nib, I think is fine. So I definitely like that feature. I like the balance. I like how sort of incognito this pen is, and yet it's very, very cool. It didn't make Cool or Not Cool Part 2, but I can guarantee you it'll be in Part 3. We probably will do inks, too. We'll do a Cool or Not Cool inks. And at some point, we're going to do a lot more stuff with inks. So I think you're going to be excited. Like, coming up soon is Top 5 Inks for Dark Academia. You're going to love that. So this is just perfect in the hand. Very incognito for your business applications. Really nice for journaling. Just has a really fluid feel to it. Very, very smooth. An excellent writer. One of my best. I'm really shocked with its smoothness and how quick it feels. It's a very fast nib. It just does what you ask it to do. So I quite like it. It's also fun to draw with, this nib. So if you want to, like, if you're doodling, if you're somewhere, you can definitely bang out a fun doodle pretty quickly with it. It's got a nice sort of width in the extra fine, and it just gives you that feel where you want to sketch and, you know, put different shading and whatnot. Just a really fun pen to use. Something that just flows easily into your fountain pen routine. Not every pen does. Some pens I find are a bit complex. You get them and then you ask yourself, like, why did I get this? There's too many moving parts. The fill mechanism is too complex. This is just simple, but without being boring. There's nothing boring about this pen. It's just solid. Now, the criticism I had at the time still stands. The converter's a little cheesy. I'm seeing that more and more where you get these very basic converters in pens. There was a time when you spent over $200, you got a nice glass and metal solid converter, and more, not Esther. I'm not picking on Esterbrook. I love Esterbrook. You know it. I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying with every pen brand, I'm seeing that. We have another pen this evening we're going to speak about, and it also has the same issue, but maybe we'll talk about it. We'll see. So I'm looking at your comments, see if there's any questions. Here's Laddie. Laddie, my man, with the super chat. Thank you. I see more slant in your cursive, and that may be owing to the finer nib. Yeah, you know, it might be. I've been thinking about that, though. I've been concentrating on my cursive. As you guys know, I do have problems with my right arm. My right arm is like numb all the time, so it makes writing a challenge. Still get criticized in my comments about the way I write. Like, your grip is wrong. You're using the wrong grip. I love my comments. It's like, you know what? You're writing. Just write. Can we just write? Can we not, like, criticize people for silly things? There's a couple. You can tell when I go like this, I'm going to go off on a rant. So I'm going to rant. I wish I had rant music. I could put it in. Rant. Hemingway Jones, rant. You're writing. I'm proud of you. If you're using a pen, good for you. Are some grips better than others? Maybe. I don't care. I don't care what grip you use. Just write. Enjoy it. Get into the feeling of it. Get your hands inky. Write the best you can. Develop it. Enjoy it. I don't care if it's legible or isn't legible. Whatever it is that you want to do. I'd never criticize you for how you hold your pen. A lot of people come into my comments and the first thing tell me, you hold your pen wrong. You know, I don't care. I don't care. I'm happy to hold a pen. I'm happy this hand still works. You know, so leave me alone. The other thing is, while I'm on a rant, you get a lot of folks who criticize pronunciation, right? My pronunciation in American English is idiosyncratic at best. And I'll get German speakers criticizing how I pronounce German. I get French speakers criticizing how I speak French. People say words different ways. People in the same towns speak differently. I live in Massachusetts. Do you know how many accents we have in Massachusetts alone? You guys out there think we have the Boston accent. No, we don't. We have a Southie accent. We have a Cambridge accent. We have a Brookline accent. We have a Chelsea accent. We have a Revere accent. There are so many dialects in Massachusetts. You know, like the French, if they're talking about American things and they say American words, they're saying like les hot dog, you know, le McDonald's and l'hamburger. And yet, if I mess up a French word, it's the end of the world. It's like, you know, when you say hamburger, I'll work on the French word. And what I'm trying to say is that we all speak differently. Just enjoy it. Enjoy characters. Enjoy people that mangle the language or not. I mean, everyone tries to do their best. I tell you, you can criticize me in English and you can criticize me in Italian, which I'm trying to learn. But every other language, I do my best, and I don't really have time to learn German. I'm sorry. Maybe after I learn Italian, but I would probably go to something else before German. Even though I'm German. My heritage is German. Probably go to French. So anyway, I thought I would mention that. Yes, Simon Krupa. Le Quarter Pounder with cheese. Yes, Royale with cheese. They wouldn't know what a Quarter Pounder is. So I want to show you, I've been using this notebook. I love these reporter notebooks. This is the one I'm writing in. I use these in my B-rolls. So I think I have kind of a collection of things I've written. See, I don't know, my cursive is getting better, don't you guys think? I mean, this was written too at the museum. So it was written on my leg. Have you seen me write? I write in midair. I write on my leg. I write on rocks. I write everywhere. But, yeah, not bad. Here's the Esterbrook Esty again from a few weeks back. We're Optima. I don't even know what pen that was, but it looks nice. I'm proud of myself. I write, therefore I am. Cogito, no, not character. Scrivo, ergo sum. This is a list of what we're doing tonight. In case I get lost, I can read everything. In case I get too far afield like I'm doing now. I have too much to talk about to be going off on rants. But after many weeks, my love affair with the Esterbrook Raven is not severed. I'm enjoying it. Not too many pens have come in. I've got a package from Scrivener. They sent 3 pens. I cannot wait to dive in. I'm going to review those for you. And I have another one coming soon. Another review that might come up as soon as this weekend. So we're going to talk about that. What can I show you next? I think I'll show you Bottega Obscura. So you guys know that I have a really close relationship with the gentleman who owns Bottega Obscura. He's an artist. He does fantastic work. He makes all my journals now. I pretty much only want to use his journals. I just love them so much. But you have to watch him on Etsy because he's not always open. Because he's an artist. He does it when he's inspired. But he just sent me this journal, and I did an unboxing. I tried to figure out how to play it, but I don't. You know me in this streaming service. So I didn't want to mess around too much. But look at this. Look at this one, guys. I mean, I couldn't believe this when I saw. I love this. I don't know if that's Greek or what, but it's so cool. I love the not the visions, like the symbols and iconography he uses. So cool. And I'll show you what else he did. Here are my initials in gold embossed on the spine. Look at that spine. I mean, how great is it to have these on your shelf? I'm hoping to have a whole row before I die of these journals because they're just so brilliant and so beautiful. So I just really love Bottega Obscura. Jeff Sykes, our newest member Everyone, welcome Jeff Sykes. He's our newest member. He's a cognoscenti, and he's. I can't wait to meet him. I hope we do a letter exchange. Your speech is endearing. Thank you very much. I try. I grew up with a speech impediment, and then I also don't like to mumble, so I try to articulate, do the best I can. Look at all this. Look, and they're raised. Don't you love raised spines? I mean, don't you love books, even if they're empty? Is it just me? I hope it's not just me. Let me see if people are leaving. No, more people are coming because you guys love journals. I can be a full-on nerd with you, and you guys get it. It's art. Look at this. It's beautiful. Look at that. It's like Florentine-style paper. It's so pretty. It's green. It's so well chosen. Look at the way he does his edges. I mean, look at that. I mean, so beautiful. He sent me this for free, and he doesn't want promotion. He's an artist. He doesn't care if I talk about it or I don't. He's an artist. Let's do it under the light here, the camera, so I can show you a bit. Nice, beautiful spine. Look at that. Look, isn't that amazing? TJS are my real initials, as you guys probably know, because Yost likes to dox me. Yost, he's like, I co-hosted over on Apple Boom Bites, and Yost is like, should I use Hemingway Jones or Tim Steiner? And I'm like, well, just use Hemingway Jones because that's my brand, and people will be lost if you use my name. We'll just keep my YouTube brand consistent, And he goes, okay. Joining us today is Tim Steiner, a.k.a. Hemingway Jones. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going with that, which is fine. I love Yost. He is my dear friend. I had so much fun doing 5 episodes with him. This is, by the way, you can feel how it's etched on there. So an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous journal. Can't wait to use it. I have a bunch more, though, first. I've shown them to you before. But very nice. He wants nothing in return, which is fantastic. He's a lovely guy. So I want to show you something else I got. I got this. I had to buy it. You know where I saw this? I saw it on Instagram. It came up in my feed. I'm a sucker for stuff like this. Arthur says, I thought Tim was the other guy. I know. We don't talk about the other guy. I know. He's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. I know. Lad Gardner says, unbelievable job. Looks like it's 400 years old. That's why I like him. That's how I found him. We're talking about Bottega Obscura again. I sought out journals that looked ancient because I like that. And you see a bunch behind me too. But this is cool, right? So we got Ernie here. This is his picture from World War I when he was in the ambulance corps. And then, this is nice. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. Here's his house in Key West. I've been there a bunch of times. Lovely house. Here's Ernest again. Handsome guy that he was in his youth. Looks a little bit like my brother. If you've ever seen my brother, he's got a bit of a Hemingway. He's got that same wide jaw. This book belongs to Hemingway Jones. So Hemingway notebook. Nice introduction. Bit on Hemingway. And then a bunch of pages. Is it fountain pen friendly? I have no idea. I really don't know. But I do know it's Hemingway and it's cool. And anything Hemingway I buy because I'm a sucker for advertising. All stories have continued far enough end in death. And he is no true storyteller who would keep that from you. So there's all these great quotes everywhere. Isn't this great? Everywhere. Quotes. And pictures. That was a picture. Look at that. Isn't that great? Do you guys love it as much as I do? This was like $13, and I bought it right from the publisher, who is, I forget who it is. Cider Mill Press, which is probably part of Scrivener, because they own all of Hemingway's copyrights and whatnot. Well, them and the family. They publish them. Ernest Hemingway notebook. Pretty cool, right? I'm excited about this. So these are some of my things. I have some more things. Lots of things to share with you. But I thought I'd tell you a story. And it's a tale of woe, but it's kind of funny. First, I'm going to have some iced tea. Forgive me. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I went for an MRI. And they had to do one on my neck. And they totally immobilize you. So they like put your head in this thing, and then you have these things that come up your ears, and then there's some kind of like superstructure, and there's a camera on it. And then you put you head first into the tube, and they lock you in there for about an hour, which is incredibly unpleasant. And then I also needed to get an MRI of this area. So once they pull me out of the tube, I'm all traumatized. I'll be honest with you. I don't handle that stuff well. It started to feel like the machine was speaking to me, you know, like my mind was just filling in the blanks. And I just didn't like the helplessness of it. So they pull me out. They decide they're going to do the arm. I'm like, I don't know if I can go back in there. Maybe I need to reschedule. And they're like, well, you should knock it out. You're here today. It's never a good idea to do 2 MRIs in one day. So I say, fine. We're going in. Let's do it. So they put me in, and then they pull me out after like 20 minutes because the machine was broken, which is the way, you know? That's always the kind of stuff that happens. So they put me back in. They finished the MRI. The arm one was a lot easier because I could actually move my head a little. I could move my feet a bit. And I wasn't allowed to move my arm, but occasionally I'd slowly move my fingers because my hand gets kind of tingly. So extremely uncomfortable, but got it done. But I'm a little like not myself. So I'm a little out of sorts. I get dressed. I drive 3/4 of the way home. I look down at my hand and my wedding band is gone, which is not pleasant. So Eric Linneman says they do have open MRI machines. They do, but you really have to hunt for them. And they did tell me when I was like, I don't know if I want to get in. They said, well, go to the main hospital. They have the open one. So I could have, but I was there. It was what it was. I did it. So I lost my wedding band. And of course, I was very distraught, but I was also sort of discombobulated, and sort of the issue with it was that I had only just worn it again. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last couple of months, you haven't seen my wedding band in videos. I don't expect you guys to notice that stuff, but I really wasn't wearing it so much because 2 things. One is my hand swelled because it was hot. And secondly, I put on like weight, which I've since taken off. So I'm trending skinny again. It's a trend, right? I trend up or I trend down. I just want to be healthy. And I don't want to buy new pants. Those are my 2 goals. So I was only just able to wear my wedding band again. I put it on so that I could feel comfort that, you know, I'm married and I got people who love me and I could think about that in the tube. So 3/4 of the way back and I realized I don't have it anymore. So I drive back because you can't get anyone on the phone. So I go in, I ask them, hey, has anyone found a wedding band? And they say, no. And they did look. They went back in the changing room where I was, and I looked around, nothing there. So I had only stopped at one other place. Pretty easy to think of where that was. I live in Massachusetts. That place was Dunkin' Donuts because, if you want to find me, that's where I am. And nothing at Dunkin' Donuts. So my wedding band was gone. I was thinking, well, it'll show up. It did not show up. So I lost my wedding band. So what does all this mean? It means 2 things. One, I have the coolest wife in the world. I told Helen, I'm like, honey, I'm so sorry I lost my wedding band. By the way, it's our 10th anniversary too. And you know what she said? She said, LHAS, didn't someone find it? Evidently not. If they did, they didn't turn it in. So my wife was like, take it as an opportunity to upgrade, which was really sweet because, you know, I was sad I lost my wedding band because, you know, it meant a lot to me. I had it for 10 years. But my wife's like, let's upgrade. So I'm like, okay. So Saturday, she went to get her hair cut. My daughter got her hair cut. We got some Anna's Taqueria for lunch, which is, if you've ever been in the Boston area, Anna's Taqueria is what you want. And then we went to Cartier because I was thinking, let's go to Cartier because I really like their fountain pens and I like my tank watch. And also my old wedding band was yellow gold, but I'm always wearing stainless steel watches. So I'm like, let's get something white gold. And we went to Cartier and we got matching bands, and now we're ring twinsies. And it wasn't very expensive either. I mean, for being like Cartier or whatever, but it wasn't that expensive at all. No more than anywhere else. So super fun. So I was very happy. Now my wife and I are like Wonder Twins. We can put our rings together and activate in different shapes. Okay, so that's my tale of woe for MRI's wedding bands with a happy ending because my daughter was so funny. She's like, I want to go to the boutique. I want to look at jewelry. So she kind of motivated me to go in, and we went in, parked, and she had Perrier. She never had Perrier before, and she quite liked it. And the gentleman was very nice. Pierre works at Cartier. Lovely fellow. So very, very nice. How are we doing for time? 8:30, right? We're flying along. We're learning all kinds of stuff. It's time to talk about a book I don't like. Oh, Debbie says congratulations on the anniversary. Thanks so much. We're very happy. Oh, Terry too. Hi, Terry. Very, very happy. So all is well. Allie J, that's it. Your wife wins at most awesome ever. She really is. She's very considerate because she knew I felt terrible, but she didn't want me to feel terrible. So she said, let's upgrade. And she ended up with a ring too. So not so bad. So has anyone read this? The Starless Sea. You guys know I've been doing a whole dark academic reading list. So I'm this far in. I've been reading, see, this is like my dark academic little books here. They're handy because I'm liking them. This is part of that milieu. I get criticized for being pretentious, guys. I could handle that criticism. I am hesitant to call anyone else pretentious. Oh, boy. Boy, oh boy, though. I don't know if I can find it, but some of this is so tough. I mean, I'm going to read you a section. This is the problem I have. I actually like one of the plot lines, and I don't want to put it down, but I'm probably going to put it down, all right? I want you guys to hear this. This, to me, is pretentious. Eventually, she is called Eleanor. And some say afterward she was named for the Queen of Aquitaine. And others claim the choice was inspired by Jane Austen. And still others say she once responded to a request for her name with Ellie or Alira or something like that. In truth, the person who suggested the name plucked it from a novel by Shirley Jackson, but neglected to clarify due to the unfortunate fate of that other fictional Eleanor. Oh, guys. I don't know, man. I really have a hard time when people are like stuffing things with every reference they possibly can, which, I mean, maybe I'm guilty of this because this is interesting, and I'm going to share this in my usual transparent manner. People are often confessing, and I feel a lot of the things we criticize are the things that we're not wholly comfortable with about ourselves. So I will freely own the fact that the way I speak is stuffed with probably every reference to everything I know at every time. But boy, when you read it like this, it's just numbing. I like to think mine are entertaining. I like to think that. I also do it when I write my scripts or even when I'm speaking off the cuff, just to sprinkle it with a little bit of spice and interest and interesting allusions and interesting analogies, just to keep it fresh and immediate. This is premeditated. It's premeditated, and it's terrible, and I want to stop reading, but I'm 233 pages in on a 540 something page book, and there's parts of it I really like. But boy, you're killing me. What's your name that wrote this? Aaron Morgenstern. Aaron, you're killing me. You're killing me with this. Can you tell me that it's all going to work out in the end? Because I don't know if I can handle it. So read cautiously, my friends. I do make decent book recommendations. A lot of you read The Secret Histories. Or Secret History. I always forget if it's plural or not. Where is it? The Secret History. A lot of you read it and you enjoyed it. It's a good book. I didn't read Babel yet. The Historian is awesome. One of the best books you'll ever read. The Cloisters is fun, but it's kind of silly. If We Were Villains is super fun, but also kind of pretentious, but in a better way. More entertaining way. Alien is great. Okay, enough books, but one last book. So what am I reading? Have you heard the thing when they ask guys, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Are you familiar with this? Well, I think about it a lot. But it's Mary Beard's fault. So it's not an alpha male thing. It's a Mary Beard thing. So let's blame Mary. But this, so far, and I've only grazed it, so good. I love her books. I just read the one, I forget the name of it, that was on the image of Roman emperors and how they portray their images. It was really interesting. And of course, SPQR, one of the best on the subject. So this, fantastic. So far. But I'm barely in it. But it's Mary Beard. It's going to be great. So, am I like manic tonight? Doesn't it feel that way a little bit? Doesn't it feel a little manic, but in a good way? Are you not entertained? I sure am. So, wow, we're doing pretty well. So I got something else really big. Really big. This is like burying the lead. The fact that we're 40 minutes in and I'm about to tell you what I'm about to tell you is astounding. I should have led with this. I should have showed this in the first 30 seconds of this broadcast. But I didn't. But all I'm going to do is show you. I'm going to show you really fast. Because I filmed a whole episode on this that's going to air sometime soon. I'm thinking maybe as soon as this weekend, but I haven't figured it out yet. But let me tell you what it is. Gino. How often does Gino think about the Roman Empire? Every day. Every day. And Miss Marilyn Darling is forgiving me for feeling manic. I just have a lot of energy. Maybe because I'm going away. I'm going to another country. In 24 hours, I'll be somewhere else. I have a house sitter coming. So the cat's going to be fine. And we'll go into a different country. So I might live stream from a different country. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. So this. Do you know what this is? Anybody? It's ebonite. Ebonite feed. All right, that's all I'm going to show you. Because there's an episode coming out on it. Do you know what it is? It is one of the most awesome pens. Maybe one of the most amazing Grail pens ever made. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's... maybe it was overambitious and it didn't quite stick the landing. But how can you find out? Watch my video. That pen is the Magna Carta Mag 600 with their 14 karat True Flex nib. A vintage style flex nib made this year. Is it possible? They've been experimenting with metallurgy, with the different components and mixes of gold to get the flex nib just right. Did they stick the landing or did they fall on their nib? Flat on their nibs. Well, you'll find out when I post the video. But the fact, the ambition, the passion, the striving, and once again, India. India is like the home of so many great things in the fountain pen world. Magna Carta is doing such ambitious and beautiful things. So, that video is filmed And I'll post it very soon, but I need breathing space for Cool or Not Cool Part 2, which I'm so proud of, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. The production's better, the music's better. Helen is a riot. You have to tell me, each of you watching, however many watch this video, please, in the comments, tell me what you think about Helen's take on the Aurora Optima. Just let me know. Let me know what you think, because it's just so hilarious to me and so spot on. She's so good, and some of her comments are hilarious. Some of her comments were so good I put them as like quotes. So I think you're really going to enjoy it. I also found this music that suits it for the bumpers in between. The production quality is a notch above the last time. So I think you're really, really going to like it. Ooh, Arthur. Arthur's getting his Irish up. Let me see. He says, true flex is a bold claim. Oh, well. One that goes from fat to thin. It is a bold claim, Arthur. Sincerely. And that's why I'm curious. Did they land it? Were they able to do it? Or did they strive and fail gloriously? We will find out as soon as I put up that video. Eric Linneman asks, blooper video review. There is a blooper video reel for Cool or Not Cool Part 2. It's in the community section. I made a list of all the videos that are available to Cognoscenti and Illuminati members, and I said to you, don't watch Cool or Not Cool 2, the blooper reel, until you see the actual video. But it's already there. It's in the post. So knock yourselves out. Miss Marilyn Darlin, Helen is brilliant. I think so. I really do. Corrine Ewan says, new here. Helen who? Helen who? Helen is my wife, and occasionally she joins the channel. Helen gives her opinions on pens, whether they're cool or not cool. But the cool thing about Helen is that she is an art appraiser. Her job, she runs like a department where they appraise art, or helps run. So it's really, and she does like Antiques Roadshow. That's her life. So she's not just some person, although she's my wife, of course, who's just given an opinion. It's a very interesting perspective from an art history point of view and cultural point of view, and it's brilliant. Plus, she's English, and everything she says sounds brilliant, especially compared to me with my American accent. So that's Helen, and I think you'll enjoy it. Go find the first part. It's in my video search on my homepage, Cool or Not Cool. I really think you'll enjoy it, because a lot of my channel's very, very serious, right, guys? Like, we're serious. We talk about depression and journaling. In fact, I'm writing an episode now on seasonal depression and how to help with journaling. So I think, we'll enjoy that. But you have to have some fun occasionally. So Cool or Not Cool is our fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, but lots of love for Helen in the comments, which I really appreciate, because Helen is my world. Helen is Mrs. HJ, Great Lakes Cruiser. Very true. Very true. Julia, too. Julia says, Hemingway's charming wife. She's definitely, I think if Helen started a YouTube channel, she would be unstoppable. She's so good. So bright. So, really good stuff. Pardon me one second. When I hit 45 minutes, the voice starts to go. Next time, we're going to talk about some inks. I got some J. Urban inks. We're going to definitely talk about these. Some Scrivener pens. And a few other things that have come in. So, very exciting stuff. But right now, with any luck at all, we are going and hopefully technology will hold up. So we have with us this evening Kurt Geisinger. who is the author of Behind the Badge, which is his story of being a law enforcement officer, which I'm sure he'll tell us a bit about what it was like to write and a bit about pens and lots of other stuff. So let's see if we can get him here because you never know. This is live, folks. You never know. I don't know,
Hello,
Kurt.
Hemingway. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's terrifying, but the technology is actually working. Hopefully
Well, this
everyone
is what
else
I
can
sound
hear
like.
you as well. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
It is my pleasure. You do sound a little low. I'm gonna turn you up on my side. So don't you do anything. All right, very good. So, Kurt, my friend, thank you so much. You're one of the members of this channel. You're also a huge contributor. You're also just great to speak to an email. Before we do anything, I just want to thank you for being here and for all you do.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for hosting the show and having me on there. And I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat room there. Like buttons going crazy, and I always enjoy Tuesday nights. I look forward to the show every week.
I'm so glad. And even last week, I didn't have an episode, but I did pre-tape something quickly. And it did really well, and people seem to enjoy it. And I've been enjoying that crazy cursive style. What did you think of that?
I liked it. It was a good show. It was certainly different. And I think I was telling you, I told you, even mentioned a letter. I have some very old documents written in cursive, and it's just, even though it's just names and stuff written down in an old notebook, it's just so interesting to look at, just to see how people used to write. And you can even tell the difference of such an old nib, like say a Waterman 12 or a Waterman 5 or something to that effect.
Or even dip pens, because people were using dip pens up into the 20s. Not everybody gives up technologies right away, right? So look at us. We're using fountain pens now. Whereas somebody would say, oh, well, everyone's writing with a ballpoint because it's 2023. But it's the same thing with dip pens. They were still being used by especially older people up into the 20s, 30s, and I'm sure beyond.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's something just endearing about writing with one. And you're talking about Esterbrook tonight. I've been writing with my Esty quite a bit, having a good time with that.
Is that Novo Blue?
No, that's actually Botanical Gardens.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the
It's a
camera's
little dark where you are, but I
not
see
doing
it.
it justice.
Yeah, very
But I've
nice.
been writing with that, and recently got out my Lamy 2000.
Oh, very nice.
Even though I know our mutual friend Lad is cringing right now, but this is the Lamy 2000.
Love Laddie. He's the best. Yeah. How do you like that pen? Would you consider that one of your favorites?
The uh, the 2000.
Hmm.
I wouldn't call it one of my favorites. It does have that, at least in my experience, it does have that sweet spot when you write with it. It's a double broad, so it
Oh,
writes like
very
a sharpie.
nice.
It writes like a sharpie. I could get out like 6 pages before I got to refill it, depending on what writing style I'm doing. But I mean, it is a good pen. I'm not knocking it, but it does take some getting used to. It's not really practical for letter writing if you're writing smaller because of the size of the nib, the line width. But
Sure.
I've been using the Esterbrook quite a bit, and Lamy Studio is one of my favorites too.
Very nice. Hey, Terry, our mutual friend, says hello, Kirk. Loving the book.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much.
Very nice. So, you want to say a little bit about the book, what it was like, to write it, how it's been going for you?
Well, the book took about a year to write. I'd say from start to finish, I had a pretty good idea of what I was going to write. Start to finish took about 9 months. And then there was another 3 months where we went through the editing process. That was a lengthy process. I mean, no matter how good you think you write, you got somebody telling you, you can improve this, you can improve that. And when it comes to editing, the worst person to pick is a friend or a relative who's
Oh,
not an
yeah.
editor, because you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to hurt your feelings. They want to tell you it's a great book. You want a professional
You
to edit the
do,
book for
yes.
you. So I found a real good editor down
It's
in
heartbreaking, though, isn't it, Kurt? I mean,
Oh, it is.
Because
I
I
did.
write, as you know, and I tend to be very verbose, and I like to pull in all kinds of obscure analogies, and I'm writing about boots, for Stridewise or something, and Nick will read it and just, or I'll see him publish it, and he'll like cut out 2 paragraphs, and I'm like, that was the best part.
Yeah, exactly. When I got my after I sent out my first manuscript, when I got it back, I didn't know they made that much red ink
Yeah,
when
yeah,
she sent it back
exactly.
to me. So I went through that, and that we went back and forth. We went through a couple editing processes. Then I had a cover designer and a book designer,
Nice.
do the book for me. That process took about 3 months. Then a final proofreading, and finally got it out on the market with Amazon. But the book writing process itself was I enjoyed it because I'm just going by just all these journal entries and notes I've made over the years, and stories I've told my family. And I had
Mm,
to be very careful not to put any names or anything
oh,
like that in
sure.
the book, obviously. Or
But the
I
value of
wouldn't be.
journaling, once again, right? Here's a journal that you were able to turn into a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. I just went through it, and just piece by piece, I started assembling everything, and it was a lot of fun. And a lot of it I actually did by hand. There was some where I was typing everything, but I noticed when I was typing it, I would just type and type and type, and I'd end up with sentences, and there were sentence fragments, and I had to redo everything. I'm cutting and pasting. It's like I went to IKEA and bought a manuscript. Now I got to assemble it. But
Oh, yeah.
when I was writing by hand, I noticed I put a lot more thought into every sentence, every paragraph, because I hated to cross out or make mistakes. So even to this day, when I write something down in a journal, in my journal, try to put a lot of thought into it to compose a complete sentence.
That's interesting. It reminds me of part of Hemingway's writing process. He would write standing up with pencil and paper often, and then he would have someone else type it up for him, or sometimes he would type them and use that as a layer of editing. But very deliberate on the page with his writing style. It's hard though. I know Woody Allen types his scripts and he literally cuts and pastes when he wants to move stuff around. He'll cut into his paper and paste it, which sounds tedious to me, but
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and pardon me, I'm sure you're familiar with it. I ended up buying the Chicago Manual of Style.
oh
It's
yeah,
the definitive guide of how to
sure.
use proper grammar. But so it was a good reference material. I bought it used for like $8. But
Yeah, yeah, that's a great one. The some of that stuff changes with certain things. It's funny because I'm on the faculty of a banking program, and the whole writing style is different than what we did. I was an English major back at Rutgers, and things change. But let's get to pens for a second. Just to keep it on pens a bit too. I hope everyone finds your book. It's easy to find on Amazon, so I encourage everyone to pick up a copy. It's compelling reading. Um, what would you say is your favorite fountain pen these days?
honestly, I think my favorite, in fact, I took it out, is the Lamy Studio. It is
Really?
this one. This one has the medium nib, and it writes beautifully.
Wow.
It's not the gold nib. It's a steel nib. But
Sure.
it's not scratchy. It has some feedback, but it flows beautifully. I've been using the Sailor ink in that, the Sailor Manual series,
Oh yeah.
and
Which one? Do you remember?
Kick You.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a nice subtle blue ink, and I really enjoy using it. And I've been using my Esterbrook quite a bit. I sent out a number of pen pal letters over the past week or so. I've been a writing machine trying to get it at least one out a day, if not two. And so I've
It
been using
takes
it.
discipline. We're a pretty big group.
Yeah, certainly are. And so I've been using the SD, and I've been writing with the Iroshizuku Yamabudo,
Oh yeah, I love that
which
ink.
is a great ink.
I
It's a
have it
great
in
ink.
my
Never have a problem
TWSBI
with it.
700R right now. Fantastic ink. Hey, John Manuel liked your book. You know John. John's a
Oh,
lovely
of course
guy.
I know John.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
John.
Yeah, right. Fantastic. I've one of the things I've noticed. I don't know if you found this, Kurt, especially now that you're writing so many letters. Isn't it really hard to find decent correspondence?
Uh, you
The
mean
stationery. The
oh,
stationery.
as far as stationery, yeah,
Yeah.
the only stationery I've been using since day one is the Clairefontaine Triumph, the
Right.
90 GSM paper. And I just enjoy using it, just the regular A4 size, and
Mm-hmm.
it works fine for me. I never have a problem with it. I've tried using Tomoe River, the 52,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have such a hard time writing on something without lines. So I've tried to make like a line at the top and work my way off from there, but I just stuck with the Clairefontaine. It's my
Well,
favorite
yeah,
paper.
you can always get a grid or something and put it behind it. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I have the grid. I just had a hard time seeing it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
well you can print out darker ones. That's what I did. I went and I just printed out really dark lines and put it behind. I use Triumph too. I find it sometimes hard to find the envelopes, but it's a little boring, isn't it? I mean, I it's just white, you know.
yeah, the paper itself, it reminds me of something I would have written on in college. It's
Right.
just regular lined paper. But I did what you did. I actually went on Excel and I printed out some just some lines on an Excel spreadsheet and tried to use that as a guide.
Sure.
And but no, I just prefer buying the lined paper, the regular A4, and the DL envelopes I've managed to find online so far without a problem.
Oh, very nice.
One thing I have noticed though is the sealing wax is starting to become scarce.
Oh, really? The J or Bond stuff?
The Herbon is becoming
Wow.
harder to find.
Yeah, because that's all I use. After using that, you stop using the cheap stuff. I mean, it smells good. It's bendable. It's easy to work with, and the color is just great.
Yeah, I use the regular copper. That's what I normally send out
Brilliant.
is the copper,
Yeah, very
and
well done.
it took some getting used to. And
Mm.
I don't have this the spoon. I just use a torch and heat it up. And
Oh
thankfully,
yeah,
I've set no one's letters on fire yet. So
yeah. The spoon does make it a little easier. Um, I find also if you pour it and then you wait maybe 10, 12 seconds and then put the stamp in, it's a little better than just doing it right away. Sometimes it can sink to the paper and then take the paper with it.
yeah, in fact, before I do it, I'll actually set it on an ice pack, and I'll let the
Oh,
signet
smart.
get ice cold, and when I put it on there, it just solidifies the wax, and it comes off not a problem.
Very smart. Very good. Well, my friend, we're at the end of the hour, so it's time to wrap up. It went so fast. It was really lovely to have you on. It was a good
Oh,
show tonight. I'm really glad you could be part of it. I hope you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
I certainly did. Thanks for having me on, and
You
I'm
bet.
glad you and everyone else can hear me tonight.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you, and we could all hear you just well. So thanks, and everyone, pick up 2 Decades Behind the Badge, Kurt Geisinger's book. Go to Amazon right now. Get it. Great gift for the holidays. Highly recommend it, Kurt. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll
Hemingway.
we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Take care.
All right, see ya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of a very long road. I hope you enjoyed this evening's episode. I certainly did. You got Cool or Not Cool this Thursday. There'll be a surprise video on the Magna Carta Mag 600 probably this weekend. So you're going to get a lot of Hemingway Jones this week. I hope you can keep up. I hope you don't mind. But I want to say thank you all. I love you all. I appreciate you being here. I promise we're going to see each other very soon, further up the road in a couple days. So thanks, take care, and we'll see each other then. Good night.